Hey everyone, I'm Deanne Castro, Creative Memories Advisor, and I hope you all had a great Christmas and a safe and fun New Year's. Here we are 1 week in to January already, and I'm just getting around to getting a video done for you. So let me show you the border that I came up with. It is using the Charming Village punch. Now, this punch was out for a while, a few years back, and then it came back out in a special buy a certain amount to get the bundle for free. So I know they're out there. I know they're running around out there, different places. So you can probably find one if you don't already have one. Check with your advisor. I'm sure that she can find one for you. But this border is using the Nordic Winter paper pack, and it's got some amazing winter type colors in it. And then also using the Nordic Winter embellishments. And I really like these. This is, I guess, a sled and snowshoes, and then a truck. Those red trucks that come out around Christmas time or Thanksgiving that are full of pumpkins and stuff like that. I really like those. So this is kind of like that. And I just thought that would be fun to add this into this border for this little town village. That's what it is. It's a village scene. So let me show you how I made it. Okay, so first thing I did was I took this paper. You want to take a piece of paper that you like the front and the back, and it has to have a really good different contrast in colors because you're going to use both sides of it. Now, I'm going to show you how I did this. It was actually punched on two sides and I folded it. But you also could have punched it once and then punched it a second time and just added it below to give you like the street that would be down the middle of these two rows. But I took this Charming Village punch and punched one side of it all the way across. So when you're using these punches, just as a reminder, you want to put the paper in that's going to line up with one of these black lines. Now, this is really, really hard to see because most of the newer punches, they have the black line on the outside also. But this one only has it down in here. So there's one here and there's one over here. So when you put your punch in it, you want to make sure that you line your paper up with the left hand mark if you're going to be moving your paper to the left, or the right hand mark if you're going to be moving your paper to the right. Okay, because that's going to matter which side of these that you line your paper up on. So line your paper up on that one side with the black line that you could see down in there, but you couldn't see on this one because it just wouldn't show up. I'm so sorry about that. Make sure that the paper is pushed all the way against the back here and punch it. Now I'm going to slide the paper over and I'm going to match it, the piece that is already punched, to cover up this blue on these sides. Okay, so I'm going to slide it over, match it up so it covers up all the blue on this side with that pattern with what I just punched right here. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure that this is pushed all the way back to the back again. That way you know you're cutting it straight. And you're just going to do that all the way across. And when I first started using this punch, it was sticking. For some reason, I had to jiggle the paper every time I punched it. But now that I've used it a couple of times, it's really easy now to get this to just slide over without catching. Okay, so some of the punches will leave a little extra piece here on the end, and you can just take your scissors and just trim that off. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to cut it Move that out of the way. I'm going to cut it at 3 inches. And I'm just going to make the top of these, I guess the church steeples, just the top of that paper right there. I'm going to line it up on the 3-inch line. Okay. Just make sure that those are straight all the way down. And I'm going to cut it. Okay. Now I'm going to get my scoring blade, because that's just easiest for me when I'm folding things. Change this out to the scoring blade. So that when I'm ready, after I punch this other side, I can fold it really easy. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing again. And I turned it just 180 degrees. So when I put it in here, it's going to start punching on this little piece here. So it'll give it the alternate punch from what's on the other side. Okay, so again, I'm going to line it up with the black line. Sometimes it's kind of hard to do because the paper isn't long enough. So I pull it out and I line it up with that black line that you can't see, but it is there. And then I'm just going to put my index finger on this side right here, and then just push it straight back. And that usually gets it pretty straight across. Sometimes it offsets it a little bit, but that's okay, especially for this one because you want them offset. So I'm going to punch it and then slide it over, match it up again, cover up all that blue on that one side, and punch it all the way across on this second side over here. Okay. Left another little piece here on the end, which is fine. So now I'm going to put that back in my trimmer, and I'm going to put that over there. Get all that little extra paper out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to put it on my trimmer, and I'm going to line this up to where it's going to score right at the base of all the houses on this one side here. So I'm going to put it so that it lines up right here at the bottom of this house, right on the cutting line, on the top and on the bottom. Can you see that right there? So that it's right along the line of where it would actually cut, but I'm going to score it so I can just fold it. But I want it right along the base right there. So when I fold it up, it will give that little different dimension to it. I want to make sure I press down hard enough so it will fold fairly easily, but not to where it actually ends up cutting through the paper. Okay. Put that out of the way. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this up from the bottom. And see how the different color paper gives it a different dimension? Almost looks like there is a street down the middle of the rows of the houses. And you can do this with a lot of different border punches. And you don't have to do it the way I did it. You can also just punch it again and then just layer it down below, because you're not going to see the bottom of this really anyway. See how that just gives a different color, different dimension. So I'm going to use my adhesive. I'm going to use the repositionable adhesive on this. That way I can get all those little nooks and crannies in the house and the tree section that would be more difficult to get if I was using my regular tape runner. Okay, so I'm going to fold this up like so. Okay, so we've got that portion done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the white shimmer paper. You can use regular white or white shimmer. This is going to be for the snow. And I've already got a section here cut, but I want to cut this side, just start from the end so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I used the lazy wave, not the super wave part on this one. So I'm going to use this side. So I'm going to put this in here and I'm just going to line it up. I'm going to push it all the way against the top here. Actually, no, this one I'm going to center. I'm going to center this one. And I'm just going to put it on the line right above where the wavy part is going to cut, because I want the wave section here on the top. So I'm just going to trim the top of it off a little bit right here. Okay, so I have that lazy wave part, and then I'm going to cut it straight across on the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to take the scoring blade out, put the regular blade back in, and I'm going to cut this at about 1 5/8 inches. I'm going to turn around so you can see this a little better. So 1 5/8 is just an eighth, 2 little tick marks past the 1 1/2 inch. So it's not quite 1 1/4. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut that straight down. Oh, I cut the wrong side. That's not the side I wanted. We're going to do this again. We're going to cut this side with the 1 5/8 inches. So I wanted the lazy wave part. So that's going to go like right about here. And so the bottom part of this wave is going to go right on the edge of where I put the snow. Where the houses are right here. So the snow, it looks like it's going to go up kind of on top of some of these houses, but then the rest of them are going to show. So it's just going to be right there on the edge. So I'll go ahead and adhere that down right now. Get that on there. Okay, so put this right up against the edge. Put it so this just falls right on that fold right there. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Now the next part of this border gives it a little bit of like a snowbank look, different levels of the snow. This I just learned this week from Lanita Medina. And you can find that video on her YouTube site, Scrapbooking with Lanita. So it's Lanita. And what she did was she took a light blue piece of paper. Now this has a little bit of a pattern to it, but it's not going to really matter because it's also going to get covered up with more white. But she cut it with the super wavy side first with this blue, okay? Which I've done. I've already got that one side cut already. But when she put it in the trimmer, it was originally put in like, let's see, how did I do this? Did I have it turned over to the other side? No, I want to see how it's matching up over here with these, with the wavy part. And it's not. So we're just going to start on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with this, just to cut off a little piece to get this, the wave on there, take the straight part off of it. Okay, and on this one, I put the paper all the way to the top because I want it to look a little offset. So when I cut it again, I'm going to move it down to the bottom and cut it from the bottom down here. I had it pushed all the way against the top, and now I'm going to push it down onto the bottom. So it's going to give it a little bit of an offset look when I cut it again. Okay, and I actually have one part of it thinner than I did the other part. So I'm going to offset it that way also, just a little bit. I'm going to pull it down here, and I'm going to turn it so it's not going to be straight. Let's see if I put it right here. I'm going to turn it just a little bit so that it's going to be thinner on one side and thicker on the other. Okay, let's see. Pull it out just a little bit here. Pull it up a little bit. And this you guys can just eyeball. It all depends on how big or small you want this little piece in the middle here. Okay, so we're going to see what this looks like. Make sure it's cut all the way through. Okay, so there we go. So see, this side is thicker than this side over here. And that's going to be how that will go on the border. Now I'm going to take a white strip. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take just a little bit up off the top to get this wave part on it. And I've got it lined up against the top up here. So now I'm going to pull it down to the bottom like I did the other one, but I'm not going to offset it quite as much because I want this to go into the middle. So I'm going to make this a little smaller and this side a little smaller. So it will fit down in the middle of this blue piece. I'm going to get that down there and that about there. And you guys can just eyeball this. If it doesn't turn out quite right, you can always recut it. But you want it to look like there's layers of snow. Okay, so we're done with that. So when I put this on here, it's going to be offset also. So it isn't a matching wave up and down. It's a wave, like the wave goes up here or the wave goes up here. So it's just offset just a little bit. I'm going to put my adhesive on it. Now I could use the repositionable tape on here, but like I think I've mentioned to you guys before, I tend to overuse the repositionable. So I like to use the regular as much as I can. I will use a little bit of repositionable right on the end here so this sticks down. I'm going to put this down the middle of it, fairly down the middle. Doesn't have to be exact because we do want it to look a little offset anyway. Okay, now I'm going to put that down on here. Doesn't that look really cool? Lanita had a great idea. She may have gotten it from somebody else, but I got this from her. So I'm going to give her all the credit for this. Okay, so now I'm going to put this down on there. Okay, got that on there. Now, sometimes the paper isn't exactly 12 by 12. So there's a little piece that's hanging over here. I'm just going to turn this over and trim it off. So it all matches up. And there's the whole base of your border. Isn't that fun? I love that. So I'm just going to add a few of the embellishments out of that pack. This time I chose the snowmen. I'm going to put them over here. And then I have a couple of little deer that are so cute. So I'm going to add them over here. Okay, so here I'm going to put these down. You can add these with foam squares if you'd like. It just gives it a little more dimension. Sometimes I don't like using as many foam squares just because it can make my book a little bulky. So I don't use a whole lot. I will sometimes, but I don't like using a whole lot. I'm going to add that little deer here. About right there. I'm going to put this one over on the other side of him. Aren't they cute? I love the little deers. Look, aren't they adorable? Playing out in the snow. All right, now this embellishment pack also comes with this really cool enamel embellishments, and they're not real thick. See how thin those are? They're so pretty. So I'm just going to add a couple of these on the ends of this border, and then we're going to be done. I think I'll add a little bit of brown. Stick that down right there. Grab another one, put it down over here. I kind of like bling, so I just think that looks really pretty. But see how that adds just a little bit more to the border? Isn't that pretty? Okay, now I didn't make extra samples. I wanted to, but oh, I forgot the background. We still have one more piece to cut. This is a darker blue. What did I do with that paper? There it is. I buried it. Okay, so this background piece right here is 3 3/8 inches. And I actually put the border on top of it just to make sure it was going to fit pretty close to that. And still have like 1/8 of an inch on the bottom showing through. So yeah, that's 3 1/8. Cut that. And then we can go ahead and adhere this down to it. I'll go ahead and put a little more repositionable tape on the top of this. And then leaving just about 1/8 of an inch on the bottom, which will put the top of those little church buildings, the steeple, really close to the top of this border. Like that. There we go. Now we're done. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you think about it, Remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, just and click on the bell so you get notifications when I do get these videos out, hopefully once a week. If you don't have an advisor and you'd like to take a look at all of these products, you can go to my website, which is noted right there. And I've got kind of a work in progress Facebook page that I try to post the new products that are coming out and maybe other tips and stuff that are not my videos. So if you'd like, request to join this group and you'll be able to see anything else that I'm posting that you may not see here on the YouTube. So thanks so much, you guys. Really appreciate you hanging in there and watching my videos. And some of you have been so incredibly loyal and posting your comments, and I greatly appreciate that. So thank you, and I will talk to you probably next week. All right, thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.